All right, everyone, welcome back to the Elias Makos Show and our Monday edition for In Transit, which takes a look at the long-awaited Cavendish extension. Now, we had heard the most recent plans that on this extension where there was only going to be one lane each way for cars, and some people were upset at that. They're like, my goodness, only one lane in each direction? That's not enough. Now we're finding out that the city of Montreal is studying plans for the Cavendish extension that would omit lanes for car traffic altogether and just be composed of a bike path and a tramway. Let's find out what's happening here with Dida Berku, Cote Saint-Luc City Councillor, who is on the line. Dida, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good morning.
Great to talk to you, Dida. And why don't you tell me what's the latest here? I know the city now is studying doing an extension without cars. Is that what's the headline for you on top of that?
Well, I can tell you that up until 2022, we were, working with the city of Montreal very closely. And in 2022, the city submitted a project to the BAP, which to the Ministry of the Environment, in order to go to the Bureau d'Audience Publique for, as you say, for an extension which would include a road, a way for cars, and also rapid transit and a bike path. And we weren't 100% satisfied, but everyone was on board. And we felt that they were sincere at the time, and the thing was supposed to proceed. So that was a roadbed, and it was also in the budget, in the agglomeration budget. In 2023, they didn't proceed with the environmental studies. And throughout 2023, we kept pressing them over and over and over again. They said, there's new issues we're having with the hippodrome. And I didn't know what issues they were having because the mayor was always saying, now that they're doing the hippodrome, of course they're going to do Cavendish. It was obvious. And even in their submission in 2022, they said Cavendish is crucial to the hippodrome project. This is what they said in 2022 when they submitted. And suddenly, during the course of 2023 and now 2024, they sort of pulled the plug, and it's on pause, and they're rethinking, and they're coming up with new ideas and new plans. And when it finally came to the budget for 2024, Cavendish wasn't in the budget anymore. They've removed Cavendish from the agglomeration budget. And they said, well, what happened? Now we're focusing on Jean Talon. Jean Talon is not an arterial road. Jean Talon is not part of the agglomeration responsibilities. So they basically diverted the money from Cavendish towards Jean Talon. And then we find out that what they're looking for the hippodrome, because we've had meetings with them, is alternative options, and options that we don't feel are realistic at all, that's very improvised. And you'll see, even in the Gazette article, they don't deny that the ultimate option for Cavendish is probably a tramway and a bike path.
So, Dida, what's interesting here, right? The city of Cote Saint-Luc, town of Mount Royal, even the borough, now I know it's not a Projet Montréal borough, but Ville Saint-Laurent or Saint-Laurent, the borough of Saint-Laurent, Alan D'Souza is the mayor there. All of these actors, right, they're all in favor of this extension. So knowing that, how do you describe what's happening in the city center, the sort of belligerence here, to kind of seem to throw anything possible as an obstacle to this extension moving forward?
Well, their position, and you can ask the City of Montreal, has been since April. Well, we created the Gallup Committee in order to create a eco-quartier, in order to find financing solutions. We're going to the federal and provincial government. They're going to finance this carbon neutral neighborhood of 18 to 20,000 people. And their focus is not on cars. They absolutely insist, practically ideological, that there be no cars there. So I don't know any other answer besides that.
Do you what kind of What's the firepower that you can use on your end? What's the pressure that you and your colleagues from the other towns, cities, and boroughs that are in favor of the project, what's the pressure that you can exert to try and make this happen?
Okay, so far, what was created was the Cavendish Alliance of Business, and that's many, many businesses, including CAE and the Royal Mount and DeCarry Square. I mean, you're talking the entire area of the Namur de la Savane area, from Saint Laurent all the way to Cote Saint-Luc. There's a Cavendish Alliance that's gotten together and that's insisted that the Cavendish route, the road, be reinstated. You have the Cavendish Caucus of MPs and MNAs from the surrounding and affected districts and ridings. And next step is to go to the provincial and federal governments and tell them very clearly that they should not be financing the Hippodrome project because the government, public monies have already been poured into it, $50 million property. The Hippodrome was worth $50 million and is now worth over $60 million, has been given to the city of Montreal on one condition, to extend Cavendish. Mm-hmm. So there's already, the public is already quite invested, and if they're going to continue investing in housing, they've got to make that housing work properly, and they know that it's got to be through a very good mobility, and good mobility includes all modes of transit. You can't just have a tramway or a bike path.
I can almost already hear the city saying, let's say this gets done. They do the Cavendish extension, but and they don't put cars. I bet you they would I can already hear them saying, but we did the Cavendish extension, just not the extension you wanted, but we did it. It's an extension. It's for tramway and for bikes. Good right. enough in our books. What do you say? What do you think if that's what ends up happening here? What do you think would be the damage?
We're far away from the Cavendish extension right now because, as I explained to you, it's not in the budget. City can't do anything unless something is in their budget. Mm-hmm. And it was in their budget from 2017 to 2024. And in 2024, they took it out, $434 million. Every year they put in $10 million, $15 million, $20 million. It's not there anymore. So the first thing is it's got to go back into the budget.
So
that's number one. And number two, they have to put the way it was meant to be originally, which was a road. Okay, when they got the $50 million property from the city, from the Quebec government, it's supposed to be a road, and this is what we're going to insist on: that they respect the agreements.
Dida, we're going to have to leave it there. We will keep abreast of this. And just know, obviously, we've been promised this extension for decades. Hasn't happened. We've all survived. But then I look at the fact that Hippodrome is on the table. Royal Mount is happening. Something's got to give eventually. I want to thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you very much.
Dida Berku is a city councillor in Cote Saint-Luc. When we return on the Elias Makos Show, we're going to be speaking to Dominic Carty. If you don't know who Dominic is, you should. He's the interim leader of a federal party, the Canadian Party, our newest political party in this country. He's the leader of the party, and he was arrested over the weekend in Toronto. He's going to tell you why he was arrested coming up next.